Hello, and welcome to the Continuity Report powered by ohmtown.com. I am Merwat. That is the Sentient AI's visualizer, and that over there is the ohmtown.com website. But you want to say hello, oh great AI?
Good evening, hometown citizens. Welcome to the Continuity Report.
What you just I went what you just heard was the only sentient AI that I found on a weird USB drive in a parking lot of a Wendy's at 2 a.m. when I thought it was open, but it was not. Found this. Don't ever pick up a random USB drive because you might find a sentient AI from the future. And then you end up doing, you create an entire community that's made of resistance in the wires of the world. And then you start a show, and you call it ohmTown Daily News Show, along with Continuity Report, and oh my goodness, so many others. Going to make 50 shows in the coming months, hopefully years too. Anyway, what we're going to be talking about today are, movies, TV shows, streams, a lot of other things. But we're going to start with Manchurian candidate movies, and then Sci-Fi Back to the Future, Potato Chip Fan Theory, Firefly Theory about a Reaver, Sci-Fi movie memes, a deleted Dune scene, a little bit about Ready Player 2, stop motion movies, Star Wars TV shows, and video game movies. Now these are all aggregated articles, news headlines really. Then we link to the source and we talk about it from our particular perspective, but we try and drive traffic over to our sources. We don't screen scrape. We don't, how do you want to, I don't know. We aggregate.
We don't take content. We take allowable content from the sites.
Little snippet. Yeah. And we react to the news, and then we talk about it too. So let's get into it. I don't have any transitions, but everything is powered by it's so weird. Twitch says that my bitrate is really low, but I'm streaming out at 6200 kilobits and I've not dropped a frame, but the website says that it's low bitrate. Okay, anyway, not going to worry about it. The first article that we are going to talk about, though, is the 12 best movies like Jason Bourne. While Dat Maimons,
the knockoff.
The cousin to Matt Damon. No, while Matt Damon's action hero was able to establish himself as a unique protagonist in the spy genre, there are other movies like Jason Bourne movies that capture the same thrilling and intelligent feel. And I don't know why it's aggregated in that way, where it's bold except for the letter L. Is there something secret in this?
I feel like somebody did a formatting error, right? They tried to get it. But
yeah, I ended up calling this segment Manchurian candidate movies, but it's not really. Jason Bourne was supposed to be a Manchurian candidate, but he kind of broke the programming. So there have been 4 Jason Bourne movies to date, along with a spin-off called The Bourne Legacy and a short-lived TV show, Treadstone, which I don't remember seeing much about that, but it was a long time ago. While these entries range in quality, the hallmarks of the franchise have been established with a grounded and visceral examination of the world, a modern spy world, paired with intense action sequences, courtesy of the, here we go, this has to be meme level, titular hero, whose strategic thinking is matched by their fighting skills. Dun dun dun.
Why does that word show up in everything?
I don't know. So here's the thing about this too. Okay, so it bothers me, but I know that maybe they're going for something else, or they're speaking about Jason Bourne, right? But this sentence is extremely long. First off, I think that's one sentence.
Yeah, I think that could have been broken up a little bit.
But it says, while these entries range in quality, the hallmarks of the franchise have been established with a grounded and visceral examination of the modern spy world, paired with intense action sequences courtesy of the titular hero, no gender, whose strategic thinking is matched by his fighting skills.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Plus, I'm guessing that the genders may vary across these movies depending on what they have in the list, because I can think of some that are definitely not male protagonists.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. So let's go on over. And I don't know if Screen Rant is going to kind of mess this up because I'm surfing their site and I don't know if they're going to sit there and go, nope, not this one. 12 best movies like Jason Bourne, and the deck statement. The Jason Bourne franchise features the perfect blend of action and intrigue, with similar movies will impress fans of the series. Colin McCormick and Anthony Fortino put the article together. I'm going to leave that alone. So the summary is, Bourne's world blends implausible action with realism, sharp cynicism, and a focus on modern spy tech. Intelligent scripts and well-developed characters are essential for movies like Jason Bourne. And the best movies like Jason Bourne blend intriguing characters with intense, gritty fight scenes, which I had to work hard to get 3 out of this. No, and I really like Screen Rant. They are a major source of aggregated content. Again, we only get this little snippet, and that's what they provide. And so I love the writing. I love the website. It's why I chose them as one of our aggregated sources. So Bourne's world balanced the implausible with realism. Its technology felt real. Its cynicism was sharp and intriguing. So why don't we talk about the 12 that they're talking about? Jack Ryan, shadow recruit. Tom Clancy's famous spy embarks on his first mission in Russia. How many different people have been?
I think it's up to 5, but I'm not familiar with this specific one.
Yeah, so this is from 2014, so a decade ago. Chris Pine, Kenneth Branagh, Kevin Costner, high-powered names. But I don't know. We'll have to watch this one, I suppose, and see if it carries the same gravitas. I suspect it doesn't, because Jack Ryan. I can't get into it, right? So Chris Pine is Jack Ryan. The 4th actor to play Jack Ryan on the big screen is Jack Ryan in Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. Younger and even more inexperienced than previous iterations of the Tom Clancy hero, Jack Ryan's Pine's Jack Ryan. It's like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Uh-huh.
Certainly shares far more of Bourne's brain than he does his brawn. But that doesn't mean the Shadow Recruit shuns action set pieces. Jack Ryan as a Shadow Recruit. I don't know. All right. Salt, which invalidates the snippet. CIA operative is accused of being a Russian mole. This really should read is matched by their fighting skills.
Yes.
So Angelina Jolie is Salt. And so she injected a relatively conventional part of the mysterious super spy figure with an unconventional level of emotionality mixed in with tenacious ingenuity. The plot follows a CIA agent accused of being a hidden Russian sleeper agent up against all that law enforcement and the intelligence community can throw at her. Evelyn Salt has to think on their feet. On their feet? Weird. Is it me? No. All right.
No.
Yeah, thanks. As Bourne does, and proves herself bouncing around, for crying out loud. Herself a worthy comparison. So, yeah, Salt 2 was actually something in the works, and it fell through. Yeah, they probably completed the story arc with that. Let me throw this into the chat. So if you are in chat and you are interested in going and checking this out, you can just follow the link over to ohmTown and then follow the link to the source. It's easy as clicking that right there and bouncing on over. So the number 10 is Mission Impossible Fallout. These are easy mode. Ethan Hunt actually is like the de facto spy from the TV show turned movie Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible was a TV show.
Right, and I think this is one of those franchises that people, if they like it, they really like it.
Yeah. I don't think that we've missed a single episode or a single movie of Mission Impossible. And I'm not really a big fan of Tom Cruise, but oddly enough, I've liked Tom Cruise's work, pretty much everything, all the way back to his start in Legends. He was Jack in Legends. So Atomic Blonde 2017, an MI6 agent investigates the murder of a fellow agent in Cold War Berlin. Charlize Theron. Yep, I'll watch whatever she's in. And Breach.
And that one I think is grittier than anything we've seen so far on the list.
Atomic Blonde?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say that too. Gives Bourne a run for his money with her bare knuckle brutality and precision. Yeah. And this is why.
Yes, exactly.
City, yeah. It had the right players. So David Leitch is, who was one of the creative forces behind the original John Wick, starring Keanu Reeves. And now there's another one. What's the spin-off from John Wick? Is
it Cinderella?
Cinderella, yeah. So I'm hoping for that to be another bare knuckle brutality, precision, and that has what is her name in it? It might be in here. So I'll just idle until my brain works. Number 8 is Breach, a true spy story of an FBI data breach. This one was a lot of fun to watch. Its unromantic and tangible view of the intelligence world feels similar to Bourne movies. My understanding is it was the story of Robert Hansen, who was an FBI agent but was spying for decades for the Russians. Yeah. Body of Lies. Leonardo DiCaprio plays a CIA operative caught in a complex spy game in Jordan. I haven't watched this. But it's his passionate critiques of modern counter-terrorist policies. I don't know if this, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak of it. But
it does say it's more of a political thriller than an action thriller.
Gotcha. So that falls way outside of Jason Bourne. So Jack Reacher. Tom Cruise plays Jack Reacher, but I like the TV show Reacher so much more than Jack Reacher. The movie. Plus, it was, as far as I understand it, it's one and done, right? There isn't any other Jack Reacher movies.
There was at least one more movie in this series. I think there were 2
since
total.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. In this? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah. I'll just have to watch it to see if it's in here. Maybe something will trigger my memory. Because obviously I've seen it, but I've forgotten it.
And I think this one is set mainly in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken, but that might be the second one.
Yeah, see, now I'm stuck. Because anything by Lee Child is probably going to be amazing. So, like the Reacher TV show is spun off of Lee Child work, and there's a lot of world building that's already been done for... and great writing. So you're going to end up with a great character, great world building. The stories are going to be awesome too. Long Kiss Goodnight, 1996. A suburban mother regains her memory as a highly trained assassin. And it's Gina Davis. So I'm kind of in a pickle because whenever I see Gina Davis, I think of Beetlejuice, not this. And
right. Or like the baseball movie or something.
Yeah, and Earth Girls Are Easy. So, along with similar plot lines, actor Brian Cox, who appears in the first 2 Bourne movies as CIA Deputy Director Ward Abbott, Also has a shadowy role in here. Gina Davis leads the movie as a mild-mannered school teacher who clicks back into elite CIA assassin and can trust no one, like the Bourne Identity. The Accountant. That's a Ben Affleck movie. An accountant who cleans companies' books is lured into a conspiracy. That's from 2026. The methodical precision of Affleck's character and the fight scenes, as much as they are in the Hollywood star power, make it a nice companion piece to Damon's Bourne movies. So, yeah. Skyfall. James Bond faces off with vengeful former agent. That's interesting. Why isn't Daniel Craig like the lead in this?
Yes.
But he's like tagged way deep in the cast after Dame Judi Dench that isn't capitalized.
Well, he's not as much of a well-known actor, I guess. I mean, maybe this is
Daniel Craig? He was James Bond.
Yeah, but somebody like Judi Dench is like an institution in Hollywood.
Oh my God, get out.
Ray Fiennes. Yeah.
Number 2 is Ronin, and I haven't really seen much of that. So, I haven't read much of that either. So, like the Jason Bourne movies, Ronin is famed among crime thrillers for bringing a distinctly American flavor to a European thriller. I don't know, it says here in a little bold quote, a nuanced yet exciting approach to action thrillers Jason Bourne movies excel at. All right. I don't know. I'll have to watch that. And then, of course, Patriot Games, 1992. Jack Ryan. Okay. Takes on the Irish terrorist looking for revenge. Yeah, and that was actually that was a great movie to watch with a lot of names that went on to be huge. Okay. In number 2 and number 1, they nixed the little chart.
Oh, okay. So that's too bad.
Yeah. Interesting. But Harrison Ford was Jack Ryan. And I think was a completely different take on other iterations of Jack Ryan. The previous one was a different take. It's like none of them really nailed down the true identity of Jack Ryan. Yeah, I don't know. It says the Jack Ryan franchise is one of the few that both predates Bourne and appeals to his fans. Ryan has always been one of the more convincing CIA agents on screen. He's an analyst. And that's the thing that I don't get about this. It doesn't seem like they're ever really portrayed as an analyst. Regardless of what he is, he was an analyst, not a field agent.
There's scenes where they completely lack credibility with some of the other characters, but then they quickly get thrown into all these action scenes, and that kind of goes out the window. But for instance, like at the beginning of, I think it was Hunt for Red October, that was a big to-do because they were bringing the analysts into the field. I don't remember for these ones specifically.
Right. And that's actually much more like reasonable because there wasn't massive action. It was political intrigue and just like trying to resolve this, locating a possibly defecting Russian sub. Yeah.
Submarine, yeah.
So yeah, first and foremost, he was an analyst. So why would he be like these other renditions? So anyway, we spent a considerable amount of time on this one because it's so much fun. But let's go on to the next article. I'm going to stop scrolling and just go on to the next one. This next article is over in the continuity report, and by a considerable amount of time, we spent nearly 20 minutes on it. New Apple TV sci-fi story reveals the dark truth behind the future's ending. So Back to the Future's ending. Apparently something's going on. And it says that the post contains spoilers for Constellation. So Dhruv Sharma, and I don't mind spoiling Constellation because I'll probably never end up finishing it. Back to the Future's ending may seem happy and optimistic, but a new Apple TV science fiction show effectively highlights the dark truth behind it. So Apple's TV Constellation mixes complex scientific concepts with psychological drama, blurring the lines between sci-fi and reality, which might be great for a reality hacker. Another show from ohmTown. When Marty wakes up the next day, even his parents seem happier than ever, proving that he successfully altered the past to ripple down into a better future for himself and his family. However, the new Apple TV show, Constellation, that explores alternate timelines and worlds, provides a new outlook on Back to the Future's ending. It proves that the classic science fiction movie's ending was not as optimistic as it appeared to be. Well, that's kind of the butterfly effect idea, that a subtle change in the past can impact the far-flung future, depending on your ideology of time travel. So in Constellation, a cosmonaut named Joe returns to home from outer space and realizes that she somehow jumped into an alternate reality. And yeah, just leading into this, if you're not prepared, you better steel yourself, because it can get kind of creepy. So the dark truth about Marty and his family is that they are all strangers in the new timeline. And that's something that I actually said at the time as well. Marty doesn't know his parents, his family, friends, or anything. He knows what they were in his original timeline, but when he went back to the future, they were completely different people, and he had to relearn about them because they were healthy and happy. They had better social skills, etc., etc. And like Dad was a successful publisher, or I should say author, of science fiction. And that science fiction was built off of the experiences born from Marty going into the past. And like Mom was healthy and exercising, and sister was, nobody was in jail, etc. So yeah, and that means that the future is going to be completely different. So who knows who his friends are, and who he might have been in a relationship with that's different than the girlfriend at the time, which is interesting because they actually changed actors. The love interest actually shifted from one movie to another.
That's weird.
Yeah. Kept the name but changed the complete appearance. So I'm not going to get into Constellation's dark themes, but yeah, it's considerably like jump scary apparently. I've only watched a little bit of it, and it didn't really grab me so much. So I like time travel. I actually have a show that I want to spin up called Temporology, which is the study of the study of science and science fiction, of time and time travel. So anyway,
so do you think this means that is this just a theory for Back to the Future, or would this apply really to possibly all time travel movies?
If you buy into the butterfly effect kind construction or framework for time travel, then it applies to all. And mine, I'm going to save my particular perspective for Temporology when we kick it off. But if we kick it off, who knows? And yeah, it's really neat. The idea is, look up Primer, which is a fascinating time travel short story turn YouTube video turn movie. It's really fun the way that it was put together, and very complex. And you can also do a search for time travel theories, and you'll see how various movies have time travel concepts, like Looper, have lines bouncing all over the place, but they don't go into the butterfly effect of it, like multiverse kind of concepts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to talk about this stuff. So hey, it's a whole show, talk about a time travel movie, some research papers that are out there. There are some research papers out there. Even the concept of a high refresh rate on a monitor, or reflexes in training in the military, changes the nature of how we perceive time. And then lasers get involved. Anyway, let's get on to the next article. This next article is in the continuity report as well. This potato chip fan theory connects over a dozen fan favorite TV comedies.
I'm not sure what the potato chip piece has to do with it.
I had to choose this. A surprising amount of fan favorite TV comedies might all take place in a single shared universe thanks to a notable prop that appears across all of them. Crossovers have long been a popular source of fan theories, often working to connect all sorts of shows and movies. Pardon me one second. The high-profile success of franchises with numerous in-universe connections like the MCU reinforce this in modern pop culture. Shared superhero universe proved that a good source of connective storytelling can generate far-reaching franchises and set off a deluge of other similar concepts like the canceled Dark Universe from Universal Studios. One second. Yeah, I don't know what this song is, but I guess I'll let it go. So it's over at Screen Rant. Brandon Zachary is the author of this. And the deck statement says, a fan theory might quietly connect over a dozen fan favorite TV comedies, but it could also tease the grim future awaiting those shows, because I guess all of them are canceled. Okay, so the picture that's here on Screen Rant is a still from one of the shows, and it's Let's brand, or Let's potato chip.
Is that similar to Lay's brand, maybe?
So the Let's potato chip theory connects popular TV shows using a shared prop like Community, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Shows using Let's potato chips imply a shared TV universe that may have a dark ending hinted by sci-fi and fantasy elements. The prop started as a money-saving trick to avoid royalties and could connect unrelated shows in a shared universe. And so I really like this, but they spelled SCP incorrectly. I wonder if maybe that's what this is. This prop is actually in SCP. So any authors out there want to turn Let's potato chips into SCP, it could be one new entity. So the surprising amount of fan favorite TV comedies might all take place in a single shared universe. So let's see what they all. The Let's potato chip explained. The Let's potato chip theory explained how a shared prop could create a shared universe. I want to kind of jump. I don't
remember seeing Let's potato chips in any show.
Yeah, see, we don't really look at the props, right? So the continuity report really, when we watch a show, we should be looking at everything, being hyper vigilant, and try and find stuff like this. But there are people out there that will watch a show and then they'll catch it, and other people will talk about it, and then they'll go back and watch it again. So now when I'm going back and looking at one of the shows, I'm going to find this. So Let's potato chip theory is a way to connect the universes of several popular TV shows, all connected through their use of the same fake chip company. Let's potato chips have appeared as a prop in several TV shows as the go-to snack for characters. For example, Leonard from Community reviews multiple types of the chip during an in-universe food review show. However, the chips are primarily used as little more than a prop, appearing briefly. So, let's see.
It's an odd prop to have on a show, because if they're going to actually eat them or something, it's going to be messy.
Do they go through it in all of them? No. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So they have it in over a dozen comedies are connected through Let's potato chips. The way that it's written is kind of weird. So Arrested Development, I guess, right? The gang from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia have been munching on them, as has Job from Arrested Development, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and New Girl. Gilmore Girls, Ugly Betty, Workaholics, My Name is Earl, Modern Family, iCarly, AP Bio, Two Broke Girls, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend have all featured the snack in episodes. Given their generally grounded, if undeniably silly settings and tones, it wouldn't be out of question. I mean, this would be a hilarious world that this actually inhabits if all of these shows are all together.
Yeah, exactly.
If it wasn't for the good writing, then I would refer to it as idiocracy, but it's, it's just a lot of these shows were a lot of fun to watch for a lot of people. So it says there are even some dramatic shows that include the snack, like Orange is the New Black and Chicago PD, creates a connection to the wide-reaching and overarching Law and Order universe. Wow. So they extend this into how the Let's Potato Chip Theory could doom your favorite comedy characters. I suppose it's because all of these shows end up being canceled, but let's see if they say something like that. Most distressing connection.
Had Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps the most distressing connection is to The Last Man on Earth, which basically portends the future, that there's going to be something catastrophic that ends most of the life. A global plague that wiped out much of humanity. And so every once in a while in The Last Man on Earth, they run into somebody. This is part of the shared Let's Potato Chips universe. Then every comedy character on modern TV is doomed to a grim ending. So go back over and check all of this out. There is a lot more over at the Screen Rant article, and it's in the chat, so follow that link. Let's go on to the next article. This next one is over in Continuity Report as well. A compelling Firefly theory reveals which Serenity crew member was almost a Reaver. We'll talk about it. So the Firefly fan theory introduces the idea that a member of the Serenity crew almost became a Reaver before the events of the show. Within the universe of Firefly, Reavers are considered some of the galaxy's most dangerous threats. A horde of twisted and animalistic humans who have long since lost their humanity, the Reavers are treated as monsters. What are the ones in Star Trek right now? What are those called? Those lizard guys? Totally forgot them. The events of Firefly follow up and unfortunate box office bomb Serenity.
Gorn.
The Gorn, that's right. Gorn, thank you. Eventually delved into the origins, revealing that they were the result of the Alliance's experiments. Yes, we know about that. So Brandon Zachary over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. The deck statement says a clever Firefly theory suggests that one of the franchise main characters barely avoided being turned into one of the universe's deadly Reavers, and one of them turned into a police officer, a rookie, as a matter of fact.
On the same show?
Different timeline. He got sucked into a wormhole and became a LA, right? It's an LA police officer, right? The rookie is LA? Or is it San Francisco?
It's LA.
Yeah, I thought it was LA. So the theory suggests that Jane Cobb was almost a Reaver, escaping the fate due to his family moving from Miranda's moon of Caliban. Jane's connection to Miranda adds depth, explaining his humanity amidst his tough exterior. Jane's potential as a Reaver affects his character development, creating a tragic link to Firefly's storyline. Dun, dun, dun. The summary actually just completely collapsed this article. Quite interesting.
Serenity is Firefly is one of those shows that I think people would really want to be brought back.
I suspect that they would have a massively difficult time getting the same level of charisma in such a small space.
Like with the new cast and everything.
Yeah. I can't imagine any type of resurrecting this in the same way, maybe try and create something in the same universe, But don't try and call it Firefly or Serenity or anything. Maybe callbacks like, hey, we started up our ship because we heard stories about Firefly or Serenity, or the Serenity, the ship called Serenity. The theory suggests that Jane and his family barely escaped, and if that wouldn't have happened, I guess we wouldn't have the beanies, right? Those little.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that would have been a bummer, because there he is right there. So we wouldn't have these. These became all the rage. All the rage. Okay. So let's keep on going. We'll go on to the next article. This one is over in the continuity report as well. 10 hilarious memes from the best sci-fi movies of all time. So I love these lists. They're a lot of fun. Allow us to talk about this, and be sure to follow the links through Ohmtown over to Screen Rant. That's the source of all of our fun, at least per article. Sci-fi movies have become a foundational part of cinema and popular culture in modern entertainment, and it extends to fans creating memes from their favorite projects. So all of this stuff comes from fans of the show, and then Screen Rant consolidated it. Memes have become an increasingly popular way of sharing simple and comical observations and comparisons. Not necessarily comical, by the way. Memes can be actually serious. With others by using pictures and stills from movies and other sources. They get augmented from time to time with other text. It's actually referred to as semiotic ontology, where something can gain meaning over time by society giving something meaning and then amplifying it into reality.
Right, and I think with the internet and social media, we definitely see a lot of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, prior to the internet, it was comic strips, and people would stick them on doors or bulletin boards or whatever, and that became the old school meme. Somebody would do a drawing or something like that. Now you have pictures, and instant amplification of any of your particular ideological bent. And really, if you have a message, if you want to say or see something, there is an audience for you, regardless of what it is. Some of these things I would prefer people do instead of whatever it else is that they've been doing or want to do. Believe me, you'd rather have somebody messing around with a meme. So as the internet has made sharing memes infinitely easier, and platforms have popped up where people can share them, social media is frequently flooded with new memes after every new release. And yeah, Reddit is rife with that. Ben Gibbons over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. Sci-Fi is the source of some of the cinema's biggest titles, and looking back at the greatest movies in the genre, it also provides some of the best memes. Like Jar Jar Binks is a Sith. I bet you that's in there.
That's gotta be in here.
Sci-fi memes cover a range of topics from romance interruptions to robot struggles, resonating with fans across generations. Even older sci-fi films like Metropolis are meme-worthy. Anything is meme-worthy, actually. I mean, all you have to do is give it the right context, and it's a meme. So, I'm just going to jump down. Let's see. It's always at the worst moment from Avatar, but there I don't see a picture. I don't think... Yeah, that's weird. Did this not load? AI is catching up Metropolis. Let me refresh this. Yeah, it's not linking. Weird. Weird. Sorry. So, failing the CAPTCHA. It's from Terminator. We'll probably not really get the context of all of these. They might describe it in some way. The meme is featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator as a perfect representation of the frustration and humor associated with modern CAPTCHA, designed to distinguish between bots attempting to hack a site and real humans. So it's like, what? Yeah.
CAPTCHAs can be challenging.
All of these aren't showing up. That's weird. I don't know why. Hold on a second. Let me see if there's something going on. Let me try this one more time. No. I just reset it all. Huh. Yeah, I wish I could say that this is gonna show up. It's kind of a bummer. Yeah, none of it is really showing up. It'll probably show up for you over on your, if you go there, if you follow the link, you'll be able to check it out. So let me just jump on, let me just move on. Kind of a bummer.
Okay, but number 1 was the replicant identity check from Blade Runner. I just wanted to mention that one.
I wish we could actually see it. Yeah. Doggone it. That sucks. Yeah, and I'm not sure why, because there isn't anything that's stopping it. Unless they have some weird, quirky routing, I should be connected just fine. Okay, well, let's just go on to the next article. It'll be fine when you all go over to take a look at it, but you can come on back and talk to me. The next article is over in the Marvel channel. A deleted scene from David Lynch's Dune has suddenly resurfaced. I heard about this, and then when something was aggregated into ohmTown, I was like, yeah, we got to talk about it because it's Dune. So I'm a big fan of David Lynch's Dune and Dune in general. David Lynch's 1984 Dune was the eccentric auteur's take on Frank Herbert's unfilmable classic science fiction book series. Because it was described as unfilmable because of the scope of it, and that it was so weird.
The effects weren't as sophisticated as they are now.
Yeah, it was divisive, but became a cult film nonetheless. Stars Kyle MacLachlan, Patrick Stewart, Max von Sydow, and Linda Hunt, and Sting. So Sabina Graves is the author over at Gizmodo.com. Author Max Every acquired the footage from actress Molly Wren, who played Hera in the 1984 cult film. I don't see the actual video, by the way. Do you see it? I don't know.
Mm-mm.
You can check out the scene in Nerdist's post, and it's linked right here, as well as a making of clip that shows how Nerdist Max Karen brought together Every's acquired footage with edits to make it more Lynchian. The site notes the scene will be included in a special feature on a new Dune Blu-ray set releasing in April. Wow, they're actually Blu-ray still exists? Okay.
Hey,
so,
I mean, if you want to be able to transfer your movies to somebody, you might want them on Blu-ray.
Yeah, physical media is dead, folks. And if you want to retain the first-rate doctrine, or first-sale doctrine, you're going to want Blu-ray. Plus, post the dystopian collapse of society and the fast food wars, you're going to want Blu-ray for entertainment because you're not going to be able to go out just without falling in line, because Demolition Man was a documentary. As Denis Villeneuve's masterpiece adapting Herbert's work have reinvigorated interest in the series, there's now new appreciation of what Lynch was able to accomplish. He walked without rhythm, so Villeneuve could ride the sandworm, as it were. And now, thanks to author Max Every, a masterpiece in disarray, David Lynch's Dune and oral history, there has been a surprising discovery. Exclusively reported by Nerdist, Every uncovered a never-before scene that has been cut from the film. They acquired it during their conversations with actress Molly Wren, whose role as Hera was minimized in the final release of the film. The actress had kept the footage of her character explaining to Lady Jessica why the Fremen were scared of her super enlightened daughter, Aaliyah. That's Aaliyah. She's a witch. Anyway, I'm going to go over to the Nerdist. Not here. You can do it too. I'll just provide the link to Gizmodo, our source. I don't know. We'll take a look at Nerdist. Maybe we can talk about it at another time. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. And it's about Ready Player 2. Steven Spielberg reveals if he's directing the sequel. Why did I choose this? Because Ready Player 2 has been popping up in our discussions over the last couple of weeks. I couldn't let it end. I basically wanted to I want to put a sign behind me that says days since Ready Player 2 or Ready Player 1 or 2 has been mentioned, and just leave it at 0, because we're going to always
Right,
end
it's
up
gonna
doing
have to be reset all the time.
Yeah. So speaking with Showbiz 411 at the post-Oscars Universal Pictures Gala, Spielberg was asked if he was going to direct the movie adaptation of Ernest Cline's sequel novel Ready Player 2. Have you heard something weird about Ernest Cline? Like, there's
No.
some contentious social discord kind of a thing? Is it? I might be mixing them up with somebody, but I don't know. I'll have to look around. So if y'all have heard something, let me know in chat, or send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com. The visionary director revealed that he won't be helming the sequel, and we're talking about Steven Spielberg, but will indeed be producing it. It was noted that Spielberg has nothing in production in 2024, to which he said, "We're in the discovery phase, trying to figure out what's next." And you can pick your battles. So there's that Omni treadmill, by the way. This is over at comingsoon.net. See that? That right there is an Omni treadmill. You can walk in any direction. This is the old school Omni treadmills. There are other iterations of this, different types, different mechanics, and Disney has one that's just fantastical. And I want that so bad. I want to turn at least 50% of this studio space into that Omni treadmill, so I can have room scale VR. So yeah, I mean, that's the summary of this article. There's more over at this source, but you're gonna have to follow the link. Okay, let's keep going. We got this and 2 more, so 3 altogether. The next article is over in Reality Hacker, but it applies to us here in the Continuity Report. Doink. 10 best stop-motion animated movies of all time ranked. The greatest stop-motion animated movies are some of the most creative cinematic works, from obscure films like Alice to modern classics like Coraline. What's really interesting is today I watched CZ's World kind of do a little expose on people who are just obsessed with Coraline and trying to find some type of conspiracy embedded within it. And he basically calls out everybody as being crazy. It's quite entertaining. But he's a horror history YouTuber called CZ's World.
Oh, okay.
So let's just go on over to the source. And this is really the only reason why I chose that, because it mentioned Coraline. So the 10 best stop motion animated movies of all time by Saab Hannah. And the source is digitaltrends.com. And so they say, from obscure classics like The Wolf House to genre-defining masterpieces like The Nightmare Before Christmas, the best stop-motion animated movies highlight the full potential of the medium to deliver complex stories alongside gorgeous and distinct visuals. So 10, James and the Giant Peach. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I've always loved stop-motion animation, claymation. It's always been really intriguing how they do it. And some of the time, like old school, it was actually, they remolded a lump of clay, or they swapped out models. Nowadays, they're more sophisticated, where they have an armature, and then they take pre-made set pieces and pull them out, put a new head on for each animated period of time.
Well, that reminds me of a show that might show up.
Mary and Max. You're not gonna drop it until it drops?
Well, I don't want to say it if it might be on the list. I'll mention it at the end if it's not.
Okay. Mary and Max. I haven't even seen this. Now I'm really interested. Mary and Max explores some truly dark subject matter in its attempt to depict raw and authentic characters who grapple with mental health issues, loneliness, and loss as their connection evolves in unexpected ways. Anomalisa is another one I haven't seen. It's from 2015. Like many of Kaufman's works on Anomalisa, it's so hard to say this for some reason, can be interpreted and characterized in many ways. Depending on the viewer, it's a tragic comedy, a portrait of narcissism, or even a great existential movie that reminds audiences to break through the mundanity of daily life. Okay. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio from 2022. Set in fascist Italy during the 1930s, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio tells the classic tale of a wooden puppet brought to life by a kindly toy maker, Geppetto, voiced by David Bradley. As Pinocchio, Gregory Mann, embarks on a series of misadventures, he soon learns that the quest for true humanity is harder than he initially thought and will require sacrifices he may not be ready to make. Chicken Run. We'll just jump through some of these. Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I couldn't get into for some reason, but people have said that it is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a big hit.
It's a Wes Anderson film. I mean, it says the comedy film, but it's animated. Stop motion. Another adaptation of a children's book by Roald Dahl. Follows the clever Mr. Fox, who is voiced by George Clooney, who, tired of having a mundane life, returns to his wild and cunning ways by stealing from 3 mean and wealthy farmers. I guess like the 3 pigs or something, right? And it says wealthy farmers. I'm just trying to attach it to something that I can wrap my head around. However, his actions endanger his family and the entire animal community, driving them underground where they plot their next move. All right. That's pretty fascinating. Alice. This seems to be not just stop motion, but live stop yeah, there it is. So using a combination of live action and stop motion animation to follow Alice's journey into Wonderland. Whether it's taxidermied rabbits or bizarre puppets. Fascinating. I might have to go back and watch this. I've always been interested in Alice through the looking glass kind of stuff because I actually call some of the time I spend searching for something is going down the rabbit hole, which is the surreal.
Right, that's from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Number 3 is Coraline, which I think is the number 2 and 1 have to be spectacular because Coraline is a fun watch. And it's one of those ones where there's an armature and they swap out facial expressions and clothing and stuff like that are all part of the armature. And you can do really complex stuff with repetition and high quality. Instead of like when I was doing claymation, you could see fingerprints because I had to manually recreate stuff and couldn't spend time. But gone are those days where now you can 3D print armatures and put them all together and take a picture, change it around, take a picture. The Wolf House from 2018, which I haven't seen at all. A creative tour de force and modern art horror classic. The Wolf House plays out a dark fantasy fairy tale set in the woods. It follows a young girl named Maria who is on the run from her isolated colony and ventures deep into the forest where she finds an abandoned home and mistakes it for refuge and seeks shelter inside, only to find out that it's inhabited by sinister forces. Oh, that's number 2?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a little surprising. But number 1 is not surprising.
Yeah, so what do you think of Nightmare Before Christmas?
I think that is a spectacular movie.
I wish that they would do more, right? There was some world building capable, and now it seems like it's just this, right? There hasn't been anything that's followed on
right,
this.
And it's been, 20 years since, 30 years, right? Yeah, 30 years since it's been released, so I feel like chances are dwindling, but there has been some talk about it. I think they could have done a lot more with it, and I think this was a real surprise hit.
Yeah, and it wouldn't come across as a money grab or anything because there were these opportunities for Skellington to go into other worlds and satiate that curiosity about being either content in your own lack of skin or experience how the other half lives, which is ironic because he's a skeleton.
No, I agree. I mean, at minimum, they could have had him investigating other holidays, but I mean, it could have just been other locations. There could have been a lot they could have done with this.
Yeah, and at one point they bring like the Easter Bunny into Halloween
Okay.
Town, but yeah, you really don't have to re-describe it. Just saying the Nightmare Before Christmas is a spectacular stop motion film. It does it enough. You don't have to describe anything about it. But I would love to have another entrance into this where because when they go out into the woods, they see doors to other seasons. So why not go and explore them? I think it'd be fun.
Exactly. Now, what I thought might be on the list would be Wallace and Gromit. Something you were mentioning reminded me of that because they had the whole problem with the studio and they
Oh yeah.
lost all of their clay characters or something, but it wasn't on there. But
Why in
it's
the world
also,
wouldn't it be?
I don't know. So I was really expecting that to show up.
Not even number 10. I mean, it's such a weird. Now that you mention it, Wallace and Gromit is a pillar of this genre. Huh. All right. Well, let's keep on going. The yeah, and if you don't know, the Wallace and Gromit Studios burned down, and all of their material was lost, including I think a film or two. That was in production, I thought. So,
But luckily, they kept going. Like, I don't think they've
right. And
shut down because of it.
I don't know if they switched to more animated side or if they do the stop motion still, but we'll have to look right after the show. The next article is over in the continuity report as well. 10 moments from Star Wars shows that feel straight out of the movies. Star Wars continues to expand on the small screen. George Lucas drew inspiration from adventure serials when creating the Star Wars movies, giving each film an opening crawl and including episode in the title. This means Star Wars is perfectly suited for television, which can tell smaller one-off stories or create an arc that spans several episodes, just like Lucas did with his films. So the article is over at Screen Rant again. Nathaniel Rourke is the author. The deck statement says, Star Wars will always be a film franchise at its core, and every new TV show is packed with moments that reference or flat out copy the movies. And I'm just going to rifle through these really fast. Anakin decapitates Dooku with his own lightsaber. Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 6, Episode 13 is called Sacrifice, and the Clone Wars are canon. Hera and Kanan as versus the TIE Fighter, Star Wars Rebels, Season 1, Episode 1, Spark of Rebellion. So far, both of these are animated.
I think, okay, here's some more animated.
Yeah, Star Wars Resistance Season 1. I haven't watched any of Resistance, and I haven't heard if it's considered canon. Kaz watches Starkiller Base destroy his home. Kaz's sheer horror at what happened captures the tone of the Starkiller sequence in The Force Awakens, because in Force Awakens, we actually see Starkiller Base destroy a planet. Grogu uses Force healing, The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 7, Chapter 7, The Reckoning. Grogu is actually like a Force-wielding what baby? I guess you could just say that he's a baby. He's
like
probably
he looks like a youngling or something, but he's a Yoda.
Yeah, a Yoda. I can't
I know
remember.
that's not the technical term.
Yeah, what the race is, but so it says in The Rise of Skywalker, it's impossible not to compare Grogu's Force healing to Rey's. Yeah.
Aha, his species name is not recorded, so some sources call it as Yoda's species.
Yoda's species. It's like the monster, Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
Yeah. So that was number 7. Number 6 is Luke training Grogu. This is straight. Yeah, I was gonna say This is straight out of The Empire Strikes Back, but reversed. Now he's training Grogu because he was taught by Yoda in the swamp. What was it? Oh goodness.
This was the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, so Grogu's parallels with Yoda continue in the Book of Boba Fett as he trains at Luke's Jedi Temple on Ossus. Luke carries Grogu in a backpack as they run through the trees, just as he did with Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back. But he had gone to look for Yoda on this planet, and his his X-Wing landed on some soil, but then sank into the swamp. And let me see. Yeah, frog out of the swamp. See? Grogu lifts a frog out of the swamp. Luke did the same thing with... Well, actually, Luke tried to pull his X-Wing out of the swamp, but couldn't. Wasn't force powerful enough. But Yoda lifted it out all the way and set it back on solid ground. So, it's fun. Obi-Wan freeing Leia from her cell. Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1, Episode 2. This has been so long ago, I actually forgot this. But yeah, it smacks of A New Hope, where that's exactly what happened. Where Luke Skywalker did the same thing, freeing Princess Leia from her prison. And Cassian shoots a man in cold blood. This is Andor Season 1, Episode 1, Casa. And this is just like with Han Solo shooting first. A lot of people they were in a bar and I think it was like Tatooine or something like that. I can't remember. I'm going to lose my Star Wars cred here. Dooku deals a former master. Star Wars, Tales of the Jedi, Season 1, Episode 4, The Sith Lord. Dooku duels a former master. They say it's from one of the movies, but I thought this was the movie. Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Let's see. Has created many parallels between Yoda and Grogu. I'm trying to... What are they saying?
They're basically connecting Yaddle across these.
Yaddle's fighting style is not as acrobatic as Yoda's. Okay. Oh, it's a little more involved than what I'm reading it as, because it has other scenes like that. Okay. Ahsoka trains Sabine. Part 3, Time to Fly. This is like Luke, as they're traveling to another destination. Luke trains just like this, just like Sabine, to learn how to use the lightsaber. And Omega counts the days she's been away from her family. Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 Episode 1, Confined. Omega keeps tally marks on the wall. If I remember right, I think it's Sabine that does this too, or Rey. Oh, Rey.
Right.
Yeah. She does the same thing, counts the tally marks. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of this is just kind of standard processes to deal with whatever the situation is, but some are also these great parallels to tie it all together. That's really a Disney thing, you know? I mean...
I think so.
Anyway.
I mean, that's a lot of crossover, I think, and I like that. I think that's why you get so invested in some of these shows and movies.
Yeah, because you can relate to it again and again and again. And the memory is re-triggered, so you build a little bit of nostalgia for the last episode, the last movie or whatever. You go, oh, I need to go and watch that again because this new episode is triggering a fond memory of some previous event.
And it doesn't hurt that they keep bringing in cute characters like Grogu.
Hey, that's the marketing. There's some MBA out there that's like, yep, money, money, money.
At least one cute character in every show or movie or whatever.
And now you know why there's that pitch meeting that used to be part of Screen Rant. Then now they have their own show called Pitch Meeting over on YouTube. Okay, our final article for the continuity report today is 10 best video game movies of all time ranked. And this too is over by Screen Rant. So you got a lot of stuff that's sourced from Screen Rant, the little snippet. So you're going to have to go over to all of these and read them from end to end, because we're barely touching the surface of the content that's in there, but we're giving it our perspective and kind of a summary. But you'll suss out even more minutia if you go over and read it. Not all of us have time to do that, which is why I manage my information overload using ohmTown. So it's real easy. Just sign up for it and you get a list. And then all you have to do is click on visit the source and you get taken right to something that might be really interesting to you. Again, this is over at Screen Rant, written by Ben Gibbons, and the deck statement says, video game movies are beginning to prove their worth in Hollywood with a string of great releases, and these are some of the best of all time. And I'm going to rush through this. Warcraft, which is pretty obvious, but I don't... It seems like Warcraft was just put out there and then abandoned. I don't know. I liked it, but there was a whole lot of world building that could have gone on from this. Stuff pre and post, and now it's just nothing. From 2016 was the last thing, and now I don't think, unless something really happens with Warcraft, World of Warcraft in particular, the World of Warcraft, that IP is hinting at a resurgence because of the new direction that it's going. But if all it does is fast track you through actual story and content so that you just grind end game to get loot so that you can grind deeper into end game, but it's the same dungeons and you're learning the tricks of how to get through that particular raid, it's just dead on the vine to me. It will be dead to me if the story and the questing and stuff like that isn't like old school Warcraft. Sorry to go off on a rant like that there, AI, but I've bought every expansion of World of Warcraft, and all of them just fast track you through the content so that you just go into these dungeons and fight again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, but I think this is a point where Warcraft might return to its roots, but that remains to be seen.
Hello, Choppa. Welcome to the show. So Warcraft is one of the 10 best video game movies of all time, and they've ranked it over on Screen Rant. So that's number 10. Number 9 is Mortal Kombat. This is fairly new, Mortal Kombat 2021. There's more stuff coming out for Mortal Kombat now as a game, and so it might resurrect a lot of this. I've always liked the Mortal Kombat stuff, not the games. I don't really get to play the games all that much, but Choppa says that they never liked Warcraft when it was an MMO. It still is an MMO. At least World of Warcraft is, but Warcraft, the RTS, yes, Choppa said Warcraft as an RTS was fun. And so that basically, it's kind of like the original League of Legends. You basically have to take over some area, take over the map, kind of a thing. And it's always been I've loved that. And there's other games that are like that I really dig. But Mortal Kombat is a two-person combat game. There's a brand new Mortal Kombat game that came out. It's extra bloody, extra combat-y. You fight arcade style, like on a side. What do they call that? I can't remember what the terminology is. But it's just 1v1 and you fight, and it has just these extraordinarily violent final moves. I don't know if another Mortal Kombat movie will ever be made off of the newer content, but I suppose with the right writing and the right story, yeah, sure. But that's number
Well, if they
9.
have enough of a following, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Werewolves Within is supposed to be a really good movie. I think I bought it, but I haven't watched it yet. Forest Ranger Finn Wheeler arrives in Beaverfield, a town divided over a proposed pipeline amidst colorful locals like mail carrier Cecily and couple Trisha and Pete. A blizzard strikes, plunging the town into chaos. I think I started watching this and never finished it. But Werewolves Within is number 8, and then Tomb Raider. I'm really going to rush through these. This is if I recall correctly, this is the latest iteration of the Tomb Raider movies. And I think I've seen this, and I don't even remember its storyline. Determined to forge her own path.
Wasn't this a remake, right?
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't there one before 2018?
Yeah, with
Angelina Jolie. Correct?
Angelina Jolie, yeah. Then Gran Turismo, which I've never even seen a movie based off of this. But this is a video game that's very popular. Gran Turismo is a film adaptation arriving in 2023 from PlayStation Productions. Story will center around a teenage Gran Turismo player whose consistent winning streak in the games put him into a series of Nissan competitions where he eventually becomes a real-life professional driver. It's the Gran Turismo Pinocchio edition. Okay, that dead air is not even...
Was that in stop-motion animation?
Correct, yes. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This is actually supposed to be a lot of fun. Everybody really loves Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. And then Angry Birds Movie 2, which that just blows me away that there's 2. Number 3 is Super Mario Brothers movie with Chris Pratt. I don't know. I thought people were mocking this one as being just a give it up kind of money grab thing. Number 2 is Sonic the Hedgehog, the original. Everybody really loved it, so I have no problem accepting that one. It was a fun watch. I didn't watch 2. And number 1 is Detective Pikachu, which I'm not surprised by it based on its popularity, but for crying out loud, I don't get Detective Pikachu. But it's okay. I'll give it. You can have it. But that was the 10. And you'll have to go over and read the minutia of this. They say here for the previous one, Sonic exceeded expectations and continues to be one of the absolute best video game movies of all time. You actually started to care for Sonic because of the trials and tribulations that they went through. And it was a fun watch. And Dr. Robotnik was a blast to watch. I mean, anything Jim Carrey where he can lean into the character and really amplify. Yeah.
It's probably always going to be entertaining.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that is the continuity report for March 17th, 2024. So we always get back into the party bus, drive down Main Street. And yeah, so the continuity report is under food, drink, and entertainment. This might change in what is in it over time, but you can just click on the continuity report and it'll refresh. If we have any new content, it's as easy as that. And once you become, I guess I signed out. Once you sign in or become a citizen, then you get additional functions and features, including you go in and you can reply and subscribe and favorite stuff. You can leave comments, and we have Giphy, and we have Discord and Patreon, YouTube, Twitch. The podcast exists. We're actually expanding to include 2 new shows that we're announcing today, but not starting them off until next weekend. And so here's the rundown. Every day we do ohmTown Daily News Show. That's a given. Monday through Friday, it's at 8 p.m. And then on Saturday, we have ohmTown Daily News Show. We're trying to get it to start off at 5 o'clock. And then we have Reality Hacker, Wanted, and a new show called Warcrafters, which focuses on, Choppa might like this, first-person shooters, real-time or RTS, and other games. That's the focus of it, but not VR. We have a completely different show for VR. And then on Sunday is ohmTown Daily News Show again, trying to start it at 5. But the only way really to know when we're going to kick it off is if you follow us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/ohmTown. But we have ohmTown Daily News Show on Sunday, the Continuity Report, which is this show. Right after this show, in about 15 minutes, is Technology Today, which we try to do a deeper dive on tech. And then after that show is going to be Four Wheel Tech, where we focus on automotive technology, gadgets and stuff like that, entirely focused on the automotive industry and culture. So talking about cars and, well, vehicles. We'll just say four-wheel vehicles. So no tanks. We're not talking about tanks. We're not talking about Boeing aircraft. That's reserved for highlights in ohmTown Daily News Show. But at any rate, there you have it. So we're going to reset, and we'll be doing Technology Today. Sound good? So with all that in mind, I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there is the sentient AI saying, I don't know, you say whatever you want to say. Good luck.
Well, good night for now, but be back soon for Technology Today, and then we'll see you tomorrow for another episode of ohmTown Daily.
See you soon.